Welcome everyone. Let's begin our lesson for today by going over the learning goals and success criteria. First, what are we learning? We're learning how to recognize patterns in arithmetic sequences and how to write their corresponding sequence equations, how to find a given term for an arithmetic sequence, how to recognize patterns in geometric sequences and write their corresponding sequence equations, how to find a given term for a geometric sequence, and how to convert arithmetic and geometric sequences between explicit and recursive forms. How are we learning it? Through the Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences MYP assessment assignment. When can we use this information? To recognize patterns in order to recognize trends in the stock market or housing rates, and to re-examine issues in your life in different ways so that you can find the most appropriate method of solving the problem. How do you know you learned it? By getting a score of 4 on the Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences MYP assessment assignment. Now let's take a look at our agenda for today. We will begin by going over the learning goals and success criteria. While we do that, you'll submit your Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences study guide. After that, I'll give you time to complete the Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences MYP assessment assignment on Desmos. At the end of class, we'll go back over our learning goals and success criteria while you fill out your before you go. Your only homework for tonight is to work on any incomplete assignments that you may have. Let's talk now about how to sign in to Desmos to complete your work. So what we're going to do is you're going to click on the link to go to the assignment, and it should take you to a page that looks kind of like this. And right here where it says sign in with Google, we're going to click there. And it's going to pop up with our email accounts. You're going to click on your school email account, and it should already have you logged in because you should have already been logged in using Google Classroom. From there, I'm just going to click start the activity, and it will take me into the assignment and allow me to begin. So that's how you will log in to Desmos using Google. Let's take a look now at the Arithmetic and Geometric Sequences MYP assessment assignment. The assignment begins with the learning goals and success criteria. If we scroll down, there's a link here to take you to the Desmos activity. Go ahead and click on that link, and it should take you to a page that looks like this. Go ahead and click Start the Activity. The activity begins with the learning goals and success criteria. We'll go ahead and click Next. Here's some instructions. Remember that on this you are allowed to use a calculator. It's got to be the one that's built into your Chromebook. Answer all the questions, and make sure that if it comes to a decimal, you round to 3 decimal places. Each section is worth 8 points. We'll go ahead and click Next. So for this one, you're given a arithmetic sequence, and it's written in explicit form, and you're asked to fill in this table. So what is A1? Well, we know that A1 is this value here, so it's 5. And then you're going to fill in the rest of the table by putting 2 in for n, and then 3, and then 4, and 5, and so on. So you're going to put all those values in, and then you're going to find the 10th term. You'll do that for each of these 2 tables. Then we'll click Next. So this one time we're going to be given an explicit form for a geometric sequence. So we'll do the same thing. We know that the first value is -3, so that goes here. And then you're going to find the rest of the table by plugging values in. So you'll plug 2 in for n, and then 3, 4, and 5, and then 10 to find the 10th term for this box down here. Then we'll click Next. Now you're going to be given a sequence, and it asks for the different components. What is the common difference? So you'll find that if this is A1 is 2 and A4 is 8, then what's the common difference that could possibly be there? Then you're going to write the equation that represents it. Then you're going to find 2 different terms. So we can see that if we go from 2 to 8, and there's 4 terms, if we take 8 minus 2, we get 6, and there's 3 terms that are between 1 and 4. So therefore, we can divide 6 divided by 3, and we get 2. So the common difference is 2, and we can check our work by going 2, 4, 6, 8. That's 4 terms. Going up by 2, that works perfectly. Then you're going to write your equation. So we have common difference is 2 times n minus 1 plus a1, which is 2. So that's our equation. Then you'll solve for the 20th term by putting 20 in for n, and the 30th term by putting 30 in for n. And you'll do the same thing for this one. Then we'll click Next. It says below is the equation that we came up with. So it's an equals 2 times n minus 1 plus 2. Now we need to change this to look like an actual function, so we're going to change this to y and x so that we can have the graph show up. So here's my graph, and it says that the solution that we came up with for the 20th term is here. Now notice it's blank because we didn't put in a solution, but when you put in a solution on the previous slide, it'll show up here. So you can check your work. So when x is 20, y here should be 40, we can see based on the graph. So this value should be 40. It says, what do you notice about the graph of the arithmetic function? Well, we should notice that it's the same as a linear function. It forms a straight line. So we'll go ahead and click next. Then we're given another one, and we're going to find a geometric sequence this time. So we have A1 is 2, A4 is 54. So you'll need to figure out what's the common ratio here. So we need to find a value that we can multiply 2 by. It's 3 times to get 54. Well, we got 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So 2 doesn't work. What about 3? 2 times 3 is 6, times 3 is 18, times 3 is 54. So my common ratio is 3. So we're going to go ahead and plug that in. So we have AN is equal to, we have our A1, which is 2, times 3 to the n minus 1 power. So that would be my equation. Now I'm going to find the 20th term. So the 20th term should be here. So all I do is plug in 20 here and solve. I do the same thing to find the 30th term. Then I'll do the same thing for this sequence here. Then I click next. It says below is the equation that we came up with. Again, we're going to change this to be y and x, just so that it'll graph it. Notice there's my function. It says, what is the solution we came up for the 20th term? And then right here it says, what do you notice about the graph of a geometric sequence? Okay, we should notice that it forms just like an exponential equation. Then we'll click next. It says, given that we have an arithmetic sequence with a positive common difference, sketch a graph of what that arithmetic sequence might look like. Well, we know that it's going to form a straight line, so I can just do something like this. For this one, it says we have a negative common difference. So that means where it's going to go down. So we go ahead and sketch our graph this way, and that it forms our negative difference. It says, from your graph, what assumption can we make about AN as n gets larger? So as AN, meaning y, as x gets bigger, what's happening to y? Well, we know that AN is getting bigger as well. Okay? Now on this one, as x gets bigger means we move to the right, y is getting smaller, so AN gets smaller. Then we'll go ahead and click next. Notice this one should be similar, except now it's going to be an exponential, so it should look something like this. So you'll go ahead and sketch those two graphs and then say what happens to y. And we'll click next and do the same thing, again geometric sequence, but with a different scenario. So it should form a curve of some kind. It might go up, it might go down. You'll have to determine that. And then again, you're going to state what happens to y as x gets larger. So once you're done with this activity, you'll go ahead and go back to your Google form and click next. This will take you to your before you go. Go ahead and fill out your before you go and then submit your work on Google Classroom.